Hi guys! This is yet another Celes solo run, and this time it's going to be on Defy Stage 3. And yes, you might have noticed it that this isn't exactly Defy Stage 3. This is actually Cice's Lost Chapters Shinryu stage, but the fights are virtually identical anyway. As far as I can tell, there is no difference between the two, other than you obviously cannot use a friend unit in Defy. So because of that, I did not set any friend unit on this stage. For all intents and purposes, you can use this exact strategy for both Cice Lost Chapter and Defy Stage 3. So firstly, in terms of setup, Celes has 5/5 ultimate weapon as well as a blue high armor. I removed buff boost speed all passive from Celes, as well as Shine Age Lite passive. And something that I forgot to mention in my last video, my Celes has 3 attack and HP artifact passives. I'm not so sure how crucial the artifact passives are. It might make a difference at the start because right before I pop Choco Summon, I do go pretty low in health. I was at one point down to 3600 HP, so the HP artifact passives may be important, but you can maybe survive with just one HP artifact passive. Importantly here, you notice that I use 2 runics, one each on the boss to cause breaks, and this allows me to charge the summon gauge enough to pop Choco Summon. Inside Chocobo Summon you have 5 turns. The first 4 turns you should use either EX or Shine Age. Do not use Runic, do not use LD in summon mode. You can't use Runic because Runic actually charges the force gauge lesser as an instant turn ability, and you cannot use LD because you need to save all your LD users for the later parts of the fight. Now the 5th and final turn in summon mode, you should use additional ability. This allows Celes to act again after summon mode. Use the turn after summon mode to pop BT mode. As you can notice, just by popping Choco Summon and taking turns inside there, you now have a full force gauge. So the idea of popping BT mode here is to firstly refresh all her buffs, including Runic, and secondly of course to get her BT aura up. Now I'm sure there's going to be questions on whether this can be done on base BT. I do think it is possible, because in this run I never really used BT plus, but obviously I didn't test base BT out, so if you do have her base BT and it did work for you, do share that in the comment section as well. Coming out of BT, I have 2 turns here, so I use the first turn for a free EX, and then the second turn, which is right before the bosses, I use FR to go into force time. From here on in, it is pretty straightforward. Every turn that Celes gets, use LD, do not press any other button. That's because, as you can see on the turn order bar, the bosses will actually get 8 turns each before Celes gets her next turn, which means that by the time you get the next turn with Celes, her traps will have worn off, so the LD will reapply the traps. Also, you want to keep a close eye on the force bonus. When you hit 999%, that's where I pop the Gladio LD call. From this part onwards, it is a pretty slow moving fight because you have to sit through all the boss attack animations and all the trap animations, and Celes gets her turn only after 8 boss turns each, so that's about like 16 enemy turns. So if you want to, you can just do something else while waiting for Celes next turn to come up. I can see it starts to get dangerous here because I did eat some HP attacks which brought Celes pretty low. If your HP is lower, you can use 1 turn of Runic here to get some HP regen before using LD. But as long as you end her turn with like 70-80% health, you should be fine, because as you can see here, the first few chaps after Celeste's turn will heal her. There is still a small risk here that you may suffer quite a lot of HP damage, but if you can make it to Celeste's next turn, then the rest of the fight is a guaranteed success. The risk of dying I think is actually pretty low, because most of the time Celeste will actually absorb the brave hits. The only time when she suffers HP damage is when the bosses naturally recover from break, and they also on the same turn get brave regen for 20k brave. That's when you may suffer some HP attacks. The good thing though is that after they unload their brave onto you, the next few turns they won't do any more HP attacks, so your traps will gradually top up your health. I'm coming up to Celeste's next turn, and I will be using the Gladio LD call. In terms of alternatives, I think if you don't have Gladio LD call, I think a Warrior of Light LD call should be pretty okay as well. Or you can use a Cater based call for 90% evasion. However, Cater I think is the least preferred option because her evasion is only 19%. So there is still a 10% of the boss's attacks landing. But since that's a base call, that would be certainly an option if you lack Gladio or Warrior of Light. Alright, so that's next turn, and this is where I pop the Gladio LD call. Gladio LD call will mean that Celeste is now invulnerable for the next 3 turns. Nothing in this stage can kill her. So again, end her turn with the LD to refresh her traps. The next 2 turns is essentially pretty much more of the same. I'll be using Celeste LD, and you have to sit through all the boss attack animations. So I'll fast forward the video a little bit. Welcome back. This is the final turn where Celeste is still protected by Gladio LD, because after using her skill here, Gladio LD will be down to 1 turn remaining. Obviously this is still enough to win the fight because the bosses are low enough, but if you lack ultimate weapon for Celes, your mileage will obviously vary. Even if that's the case, it's not a run ender. If the bosses still survive all the way until Celes's next turn, yes, she's out of traps, but at this point you still have 5 turns of force time remaining at 999%. So if you still get to Celes's next turn, just spam runic until the bosses are dead, or spam runic until one boss is dead and use EX on the remaining boss. Or I guess use BT plus on the remaining boss to get her BT aura up again. Doesn't really matter, but if there's only one boss remaining, he can't really kill Celes. Not forgetting Celes also has last stand as well. Anyway, that's it for this run. As always, I hope the video has been helpful, and if you enjoyed the content, do leave a like, comment and subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Dare to Defy stage. Bye!